Hi, in this video I'm going to break down the images from my latest vlog. Hi, I'm Adam and welcome to First Man Photography, the channel that will help you take your photography to the next level. If you haven't done so yet, please do follow me on Instagram. It's a great place to interact and there's lots of good conversation going on there. And also, more importantly, I would like to see some of your work. So click the link down in the description and hopefully I'll see you there. So as promised, following each vlog that I film, I'm going to produce a video like this that goes through the images, gives you more detail about them, my thought process in composing the images, and some details about settings and just what I was thinking at the time of shooting. People want that information, so these videos are for that. If you haven't seen my latest vlog, again, I went to the Lake District, climbed a mountain and captured some landscape photography. It was massively windy and the wind literally tried to blow me off the mountain. So if you haven't seen that vlog yet, click the link up there or down in the description to check that out first. Then come back here and we'll go through some of the images. Okay, let's get into the computer and we'll talk about the first one. So this was the first image where I was parked up at the side of the road and I put my camera over a wall to capture the waterfall here. And this was in the video, this waterfall. And when I shot the image afterwards, I decided to go for a vertical image. I would have preferred a horizontal one, but I wasn't going to be able to get everything in the image going horizontal or any of the sky because that's quite a steep hill. So I went vertical on this one. And I've gone for ISO 100 to keep it as clean as possible, 19mm, and then f16 at a third of a second. And that third of a second shutter speed has let me capture some of the movement in the water, and f16's kept everything in focus because I've got this rock here, for example, it's quite close to me, but then I've got the tree and the sort of trees at the top here, which are a bit further away. So I went for f16 to keep all that in focus. Not my favourite image, but it was, like I said in the video, it was quick, it was there, so I captured it. You're starting to get some of the autumn colours in that tree there, but it adds to the story of my day, so that's why I captured it. That's why I included it. Not my favourite, probably won't use it too much, but like I said, part of the video. So let's go on to the next one. This is slight. I'm a bit happier with this one because again, we're picking out some of those autumn colours, those orange tones in that tree here. And I just like this tree sort of sticking out with the curve of this wall here. This is the road just here. And I just like the curve of the wall leading you into that tree with those mountains and the reservoir in the shot as well. And it kind of gives a feeling of what a bleak sort of day it was. And it really was. It was windy, it was wet, it was foggy, and it never really cleared up, although it was forecast to. And I think that image, again, just captures that. Not the best image in the world, but you're getting some of the red berries here, so you've got that autumn feel. But again, it adds to the story of my day, which is what I was going for with that one. So on to the next one. There's only 5 images today. Because of those conditions, it wasn't the best photography day, but hopefully you will still enjoy some of the images. This was that tree that I was talking about. Right, I've just stopped because I've seen this tree here with these red berries on it. What I wanted to achieve here was getting this really interesting tree that was a nice shape. It had these red berries, but I wanted to isolate that tree above the horizon line so it really stood out and really came to the fore in that picture, which it doesn't, unfortunately, because like I said in the vlog, well, that's quite frustrating. I don't think I can get down to the composition I want. I could not get down low enough because of the steepness of the hill to capture that tree and put it above the horizon line in my composition. So I was sort of stuck with this composition with it below the mountain line here, so it kind of gets lost a little bit in the background, which is not what I wanted, but it was just physically impossible to get any lower. If I'd gone on to sort of this rock here, which I probably could have done, I would have been too close to the tree and wouldn't have been able to get it all in, even with a nice wide angle. So I decided to go for this composition, get a bit of the water in again. It was on the tripod for this one. I'm at 26mm, ISO 100, f16 at 0.3 seconds. Again, just a third of a second to slow that water down and show some of that movement. Again, it's not my favourite shot. I won't be using this, but I just included it in the vlog and in this just to show you sort of the process you go through and the way I was thinking, and sometimes it's just not possible to get what you want. But there we are. Let's move on to the next one. Now, this one I am much happier with. This was as I was starting to climb up to the top of the mountain, and it was getting seriously windy at this point. So the weather is battering me now. It's windy, it's rainy, and when you're up in the hills and the weather's like this, it feels like you're the only person in the world. And I liked the composition here because you've got the Tarn here, and then you can see the reservoir back down where I started my walk that day in the distance. The conditions, like I said, very windy, and I didn't go for long exposure because this is handheld. I didn't want to stand there for too long getting the tripod out because of those conditions. I wanted to capture some of the detail in the water itself, because if we zoom in, you can see the ripples on the water that are being caused by that wind, and I really liked that as part of this image. Also, I decided at the time of shooting that this was going to be black and white because the colours were rocky, not particularly interesting colours, but I just love the tones between that dark rock in the picture and then the sort of lighter colour of the Tarn here, and the reflection and glare that's coming off that just works so well for black and white, and I've managed to pull some of the detail out of the clouds here. I'm really happy with this image. I've used these sort of rocks here as in my composition to sort of lead you into the frame a little bit, and hopefully you see that. I appreciate that, and I'm hoping you enjoy that image. I'll show you what the settings are a second. We've got ISO 400 on this one because it was handheld. I wanted to stick at f8 to get everything in focus and to get the best quality out of the lens I was using. So I've had to increase the ISO a little bit to 400 and reduce my shutter speed to 1/60th of a second because conditions were pretty dark here. So they were the settings that I needed, mainly because I wanted to keep that aperture of 8. So like I said, ISO has gone to 400. I'm comfortable hand holding at 1/60th of a second. I wouldn't really go any lower than that, but it's worked out for me here. So I'm happy with that image. And then in the video, I climbed across the top. There just wasn't any real opportunity for me to get out and capture some good shots because it was so windy. And if you've seen the vlog, it was literally trying to blow me off the mountain. So I just walked around, got back to the spot that I said where I was going to capture my sunset shot. Okay, so I'm back where I started, and I've got back actually in time for my sunset. So this is my final shot. I'm actually really pleased with this one. It worked out a lot better than I thought it was going to when I realised that my sunset shot wasn't to be. The sunset shot that I had planned, the sun was going to be setting just around this area here, and you can see actually where it's a little bit brighter in the image anyway. This was shot pretty much at sunset time, and this was where the sun was going to set. I know that because I used the Photo Pills app to plan this shot, and I decided on this composition by just using Google Maps because there's a road sort of along the bottom here, which is where I parked the car to start with. I climbed up the mountain a little bit to get this composition, and I planned that through Google Maps, Photo Pills, and that's a really good way to do it if you've not been to the area before. Do a bit of research, have a plan, and that's what happened with this shot. However, like I've said before, you can't control the weather, so this was the scene I was left with. So composition-wise, what I was thinking on this one is I wanted to get as much of this lake in view as possible, and I wanted these autumnal colours as well coming through, which are here. You're getting all these autumnal colours, which really adds something to the image. I'm happy with the composition as well. I've sort of gone for a slightly wider angle, or I've cropped it a little bit because I didn't want to have the road in the image at the bottom. And then obviously we've gone for a long exposure. And for this, I used a 6-stop filter because it's getting pretty dark at this point. So it's ISO 100. I'm at 21mm for that composition. F16 to... I didn't need to be at f16 here, but I've gone to f16 just so I can get that slightly longer exposure time using the 6-stop ND filter. And that's ended up at about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And that's how long that exposure is. And I'm really pleased with the way it's worked out. I also had it stacked with my circular polarizer, which is how I've managed to capture the detail in the water here. And that's just what that does is just remove that glare from the water and lets you capture all those details in the water without just capturing that reflected light straight off the surface. I'm really pleased with that photo. It turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to, but still I'm going to have to go back at some stage to capture a sunset because I think that would also be really nice. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. I'm going to continue doing these companion videos to the vlogs, and I've got lots more vlogs planned for the future. So make sure you subscribe to the videos every Wednesday and every Sunday, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'll see you on another video very soon. I'm Adam. This is First Man Photography, out.